When I was 78, I made a decision that everyone around me said was for the best. My knees were getting weaker, my daughter lived 3 states away, and the brochures, they promised warm meals, friendly staff, and a peaceful life. So, I packed up my books, my favorite cardigan, and the photo of my late wife, and I moved into what they called a place of care. But no one told me what I'd be leaving behind. Not just the garden I love to tend, not just my morning walks to the corner cafe, but the small things, like choosing when to eat, when to sleep, or simply sitting in my own silence. Today, I want to tell you the 7 things I truly wish someone had warned me about before I moved into a nursing home. Because once you're in, life doesn't slow down, it shrinks. Let's begin. 1. Losing my independence. When I first stepped into the nursing home, I thought I was simply changing my address. I didn't realize I was handing over the rhythm of my life. Back at home, I woke up when the morning light touched my curtains. I made my coffee just the way I liked it, strong, black, with 2 sugars, in the old chip mug my wife gave me on our 25th anniversary. I sat by the window, listening to the birds and watching the mail truck pass by. No one rushed me. Here, everything runs on someone else's time. Breakfast is at 7, 30 sharp even if you're not hungry. Showers are scheduled. Lights go out whether you're ready or not. Want to go outside? You have to ask. And wait. At first, I told myself, it's just routine. But over time, I realized I was losing little pieces of myself. The freedom to read, nap, or walk became privileges, not choices. One morning, I reached for the book I always kept by my bed, but it wasn't there. Neither was my soft blanket or my old slippers. The room was clean. It just wasn't mine. That's when it hit me. I hadn't just moved into a facility. I had surrendered my independence. The hardest part isn't the rules. It's what they quietly take away. And once it's gone, it doesn't come back easily, no matter how much you wish it would. 2. Feeling forgotten. After I moved in, the first few weeks were full of phone calls and visits. My daughter came every Sunday afternoon, arms full of groceries. My grandchildren brought drawings and stories from school. I thought, maybe this won't be so bad. But visits turned to phone calls. Then the calls came less often. Birthdays were missed. Holidays passed with quiet promises that faded. I understand. Life gets busy. Kids grow. Work doesn't stop. But understanding doesn't ease the ache. It doesn't stop you from watching the door at Christmas hoping someone remembers. One evening, I held my phone, thinking about calling my son, but I didn't want to be a burden. I gently set it down and stared out into the dusk. It's not that they don't love me, but when you're no longer in the day-to-day, it's easy to be forgotten. And once you start to feel invisible, it's hard to believe anyone still sees you. 3. Losing my sense of purpose. At home, my days had rhythm. I rose with the sun, fed the birds, made breakfast just how I liked it. I swept the porch, watered the roses, read the paper. Those simple tasks made me feel needed alive. In the nursing home, there were no dishes, no chores, meals were brought, floors cleaned, even the plants weren't mine. I thought I'd enjoy the rest, but after a few weeks, the silence grew heavy. There was a man here, George, a carpenter for 6 decades. He used to build toys, fix furniture. Here, with no tools and no purpose, his hands stilled. One day he said, "I don't fix things anymore. I just wait." That stuck with me. Without something to care for, a task, a purpose, we drift. And each day becomes something we get through, not something we live for. 4. Declining health faster than expected. Before I came here, I still had strength. I cooked, walked to the mailbox, did my stretches. I was doing fine. But after I moved in, I slowed down without noticing. Meals came to me, no need to move. I sat more. My legs ached when I stood. One day, I needed help just to get out of my chair. And I wasn't alone. Alice, 81, used to walk every day. Then came the walker, then the wheelchair. She once told me, "I feel like I aged 10 years in just a few months." I knew exactly what she meant. Muscles don't just fade from illness, they fade from stillness. I wish I had fought harder to stay active, because getting strength back is no easy thing. 5. Loss of privacy and dignity. At home, I had space, a door I could close, a bathroom I didn't have to share, silence when I wanted it. Here, privacy is something you trade for care. Staff come in and out. Room checks happen even if you're sleeping. The knock is often followed by someone entering before you answer. Even bathing and dressing became shared tasks. At first, I resisted. Then I gave in. And with each moment of surrender, I felt less like myself. I had a kind roommate. Not everyone is so lucky. Some cried at night, some just stopped talking. Losing independence was hard, but losing dignity quietly slowly cuts deepest. The 6, realizing it's harder to leave than you think. I thought this move was temporary, a pause, but my home sat empty. My kids made changes. Furniture was sold. My strength faded. When I said I wanted to go back, my daughter asked, "Are you sure you'd be safe?" And that's when I knew what was meant to be a pause had become permanent. Some sold their homes. Some no longer had the strength to leave. The door here doesn't lock, but it still feels hard to open. Not because anyone says no, but because one day you look in the mirror and you're not sure you remember how to go back. 7. Not being emotionally prepared for the deep change. I thought I was ready. I packed my things. I told myself this was right, but no one warned me about the emotional shift. Here, I am cared for. But being cared for isn't the same as being needed or loved. At home, someone asked what I wanted for dinner. My voice mattered. My advice was sought. Here, my voice echoes in clean, quiet halls. No one needs me now. And slowly, you begin to feel like a character written out of the story. I lost my independence, my purpose, my strength, my privacy, my connection to the world. And the deepest loss wasn't what I could touch, it was what I could feel. And I wish I had been ready. So, if you stay with me this far, thank you. I didn't make this video to scare anyone or to say that nursing homes are all bad. I made it because I wish someone had told me before I gave up the keys to my home, before I lost my small freedoms, before I sat by a window one day and realized no one needed me anymore. The truth is, we don't just lose independence when we move in. We lose connection. We lose purpose. And if we're not careful, we lose ourselves. If you or someone you love is facing this decision, take a moment. Ask, is there another way? Could we bring in a little help without giving up everything that makes life feel worth living? Because what matters most, especially in these later years, is not just being cared for, but still feeling human. If this story meant something to you, leave a comment below or send it to someone who may be facing the same choice. And if you'd like to hear more stories like this, just tap subscribe. Take care of yourself. And may you always feel seen, needed, and truly at home, wherever you are.